Hey guys, Brian Craig here. Welcome, and welcome. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe, all right? If you're new, my name is Brian Craig. I'm on the radio here on YouTube in the mornings where I live stream, and I do a lot of other uploads to this channel as well, including my podcast, and I do live streams like this all the time from home too. So make sure you're subscribed, click that notification bell. There's always lots of things that we go over that are important, because some of the things that have been going on lately in the news are just outrageously shocking. And I want to thank everyone who's joined us, since the last couple of months. I know we've gotten a lot of new subscribers, and I want to welcome all of you who are new to the program, and thank you for your continued support of the program. Now, I got to tell you, this Andrew Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo is insane. Okay, now, I mean, let's be honest. If you are someone who holds high office, and like the governor of a major state like New York, and you think you're going to be president one day, most people that go into politics have huge egos, or they're in it for profit like Joe Biden and others. But this guy, Governor Cuomo, is completely certifiably insane. Now, I'll tell you, I'm starting with this topic. There's some other topics we're going to talk about here, but we're starting with this topic because I put a poll up on YouTube earlier, and the vast majority of people, I haven't checked it in a few minutes. Let me go and check. But the vast majority of people wanted to talk about this on top of the other topics. Let me see here. Let me pull it up. Okay, here we go. Now, I put this poll up, I don't know, around noon or so today. And I put up on YouTube, what should we talk about first on the live stream? Cuomo nursing home scandal, Biden's executive orders, or AOC and Ted Cruz? And 53% said Cuomo nursing home scandal, 35% Biden's executive orders, and only 12% AOC and Ted Cruz. So I guess you guys don't care that much about AOC. Is AOC really as popular as people think she is? I don't know. But let's get into this since everyone voted. Hey, William, $20 super chat. Thank you. He should be taken out of office immediately. I saw a story today that said that Lynn Wood is being told by one of the bar associations that he has to go through some type of mental health exam. And I would have to say that would be true of Cuomo. Governor Cuomo here needs to go through a mental health exam. And I'll tell you, when he started doing his press conferences during the early days of COVID, I was really upset about it, and even a little worried election-wise in the future. And what upset me about it was, he came out and started doing these daily press conferences like around 11 o'clock in the morning at the height of the COVID crisis. And they would be like 2 hours long. And the media would talk about what Governor Cuomo said and what Governor Cuomo's plans are all day. And I thought he was undermining President Trump during the whole thing. And the first day or two, I was like, oh, this is going to be the nominee for the Democrat Party. And then his narcissism got just, a little out of control. And he turned himself into what he is, a clown. He looked like a complete lunatic, especially when he started bringing Fredo on and they started doing these things. It was just insane, and he's just completely discredited himself. And, this nursing home scandal, I had Janice Dean on my podcast during the COVID, the height of the COVID scandal, when this was first being talked about, when she first lost her in-laws. And, Janice Dean very well could be the next governor of New York. I don't think New York's ever had a lady governor. She could be the first. And, I'm going to play what Cuomo said in just a minute, but Cuomo blames everything on Janice Dean. Cuomo is so twisted. He never takes responsibility for anything. No one, everyone else is responsible. He is not responsible for anything. He does no wrong. And he's another one of these spoiled, rich entitlement guys. He's like a Kennedy, right? He's never done anything or worked for anything in his life. The only reason he's somebody is because his governor, or his father, Governor Mario Cuomo, was the governor of New York and was a big to-do in the Democrat Party. And, that's the only reason. He hasn't accomplished anything on his own. And you know what? He's such a narcissist, he doesn't know it. He thinks he's worked hard and earned everything. He's a fool. So now that these real numbers are coming out on the number of people that died in the nursing homes, it's all falling apart for him. I mean, everybody in the media was talking about this all day long, and they are all blaming him and his incompetence. He's blaming everyone else but himself. I'll play the audio here, and then we'll talk about it. But when I had Janice Dean on my podcast, Janice Dean from Fox, she told me something that just floored me. When he was sending these people to the nursing homes with the COVID, he would not allow any COVID testing to take place at the nursing home. So they didn't know who had it and who didn't, who had been exposed and who hadn't. And boom, it's he's what do the liberals always call it? Super spreader. He's a super spreader. All right, so let's play this. This is Governor Cuomo.
A third of all deaths in this nation are from nursing homes. New York State, we're only about 28% only. But we're below the national average in number of deaths in nursing homes. But who cares? 33, 28, who died cares? In a hospital, died in a nursing home. They died.
Wow. Yeah, New York Post has that up. Who cares? Doesn't that sound like Hillary with the, what difference does it make? Now, if this guy, like here in Florida, we've got this great governor, Ron DeSantis, Republican governor, handpicked, backed by President Trump. And I saw him on TV today. And Jen Psaki in the White House press briefing, they're always attacking Ron DeSantis because he's a Republican governor who's done an incredible job here in Florida. And they said that he's only distributed half of his vaccine doses, acting as if Governor DeSantis here in Florida is incompetent. And I saw Ron DeSantis on TV earlier, and he said that is because we're holding the second dose. People got to come back for the second dose. Like my mother got the vaccine last week, so she's got to get the second dose. I forget when, but she already scheduled it, and she's got to show up somewhere and get the second dose. He says we're keeping the second dose so people can come and get the second dose. So we haven't just distributed 50%. It's 2 doses. And this is, everything with the Democrats is politics and profit for themselves, right? They never really look at the long term of what's going on here. Now, what do you guys think? Now, I know, a lot of us are Republicans, so we don't like Governor Cuomo just because, he's a bad guy. This guy, who could like this guy? But would Democrats, there's no question that Joe Biden's a one-term president. Come on, right? Would Democrats still vote for this guy with this? Would they still vote for him? What do you guys think? Tell me in the chat room. I think Democrats don't care. I think, Democrats, that whole political office, have complete immunity to do whatever the hell they want. They're like James Bond 007 literally with a license to kill. They can just do whatever they want. They can they can drive a car into a canal and save themselves and leave a girl behind to drown, and they get elected to the Senate time and time again. So Democrats, so I don't think this is a career ender for Cuomo. What do you guys think in the chat? Now, and I'll tell you what's more of a career ender for his presidential hopes is Kamala, because she's going to be the nominee at least next time. And if Biden resigns, who cares? Well, you should care, because if he gets the nomination, if Democrats are that out of their mind, there's a chance he could be the president one day. Would you want this? Who would you rather be the president? Now, answer honestly. Answer honestly in the chat room. Who would you rather be president? Kamala Harris or Fredo's brother here, Governor Cuomo? I mean, think about that. Think about that for a second before you answer. Because she's going to be the nominee next time, and if Biden resigns, before the end of his term, she'll be the sitting president, right? She'll be the 47th president. Can you imagine? No. You can't say neither. That's a cop-out. Which I would tell you, this guy here, Cuomo. Well, of course, we all want Trump. Yeah, there's no doubt. No. That Trump's not on the choice. Kamala Harris or Governor Cuomo? I would say Kamala Harris, personally, over Cuomo. Not that I want either of them. I want Trump. I want Trump for life. Okay? That's right. But Cuomo is a sociopath. He's a complete sociopath, and that's not what you want. Kamala Harris, she's all about the celebrity. She's more concerned about, what she's wearing and how she looks when she walks off the plane to the limo, if you watch any of it. So she I don't want her to be president, but she's less risky for us than this guy, right? This guy is a complete psychotic sociopath, in my opinion. She's there to ensure that Joe does Obama's work. The other day, I'm sure some of you have seen this, but Jen Psaki, the press briefing girl, she said President Obama the other day. Did you catch that? And a lot of people have been talking. I've heard a lot of people talk about this, that Obama truly is running the country right now because all of his people are there. Is there any way Hillary could be VP? No. I mean, I guess she could, but no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You think Kamala Harris would want to have her around, overshadowing her? Mm-mm. Cuomo is old school. He's Democrat Party establishment. He was, I think he was Secretary of Housing with Clinton. Was it Secretary of Housing was his job with Clinton? He was in the Clinton cabinet. Now, Ken Wilcox. Who's Ken Wilcox? I'm not quite sure who that is. See, Democrats don't care though that he did this. They'll vote for him anyway. They'll vote for him anyway. They tell themselves, oh, Cuomo's a lunatic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, Hillary's not going to jail. Democrats don't go to jail. Okay, very rarely. Republicans can go, like Scooter Libby. Republicans can go to jail, but they don't put Democrats in jail. They can do whatever they want, man. They have complete immunity. So sometimes, in a way, don't you wish sometimes you could, that our people were Democrats, because they hold Republicans to this impossible standard, right? Just because they got that R next to their name. But I don't know. I guess because we have morals, right? So we have standards. We need a younger version of Trump. Is not a mortal man. Trump is like 25 years younger than his numerical age. So no, Trump, I know a lot of people say he's too old to run in 2024. I don't think he's too old to run in 2024. He is not a normal person. We need term limits. Well, we have in Florida. We have term limits on our governors, and you can only hold the office for 2 terms. Our state officials, our state legislators, and our governors only 2 terms. They're never going to have 2 term limits in Congress because Congress makes the law. So that Congress would have to pass a law putting almost all of them out of work, and they're not going to. They're not going to do that. We need Trump. Yep. His brain is still young. His body is still young. Trump is, he's like Superman. He's I'm not worried about Trump. Now this is a joke. Look at this. Beto. He's talking about running for governor of Texas. Where's Beto been? Jose, hey Brian, love the content. I've been listening to the Steve Kane Show since before the election, so you're newer. But these Dems are slowly but surely overstepping themselves. You know, Democrats, it's like that poem. You know, it's that that Trump used to read all the time during the campaign about the snake. He's talking about the Democrats. You know, the Democrats always overstep. I mean, this story, we were all talking about it last week. I mean, think about it. By last Friday, Biden had 2 full days in office, right? 2 full days in office, and he put 100,000 people out of work. And now that story's disappeared. Not even conservatives are talking about it. It's all about GameStop, Reddit, and Cuomo right now. You know? So, you know, you're right. Democrats do crazy things. I mean, what Biden did with those 100,000 people that he put out of work, everyone was outraged for 2-3 days, and now we're on to the next thing, you know? And that's how it is. You know, so because of his age and cognitive issues, Biden doesn't care. See, you know, Biden does not plan on running for a second term. The whole purpose of Biden, you know, what do you guys think Biden's goal is? I'm going to tell you what it is, but let me see if you guys can guess in the chat room. Biden's goal in this term is to be a one-term president. He knows that he's not going to be in the right health to run for a second term. Tell me in the chat room. I'll tell you what the real reason is in a second, but tell me in the chat room what you think Biden's goal is being president. Personal. What is his purpose? See if anybody gets it. When I tell you, if you don't, you'll say, yeah, that sounds about right. Keep everyone's corruption under the rug. He just wanted to be president. No, he's got a goal. He's got a plan. He's got something in mind. Consultant. He wants to get out of Chinagate, undo what Trump did. He wants to be famous. Now, all of you guys are wrong. All of you guys are wrong so far. Maybe somebody else will mention it. The reason that he's president right now is to set his family up for life, financially. This is his boat coming in. They got a lot of money, but they got a lot of family members that are living high on the hog. And remember that email that came out from Hunter Biden during the campaign when he was complaining about all the money that he was bringing in and these next 4 years, Biden's family, including his strange brother, it's going to be all about setting the entire Biden clan up for the next 100 years financially, because this is it for them. They don't have anyone else in the Trump family, though they got $10 billion, Donald Trump. So they're set, but they have a lot of people. They've got Don Jr., they've got Eric, they've got Laura Trump, and I'm sure there's other people in the family that could be, in the Biden family, that's it. They got no one else, right? Joe is it. There's no one in the Biden family that's ever going to hold off. Yeah, Barron probably could run for Congress one day. Yeah, absolutely. So his whole purpose is not to get reelected. It is to enrich his family, to have enough money that they never have to worry ever again for generations to come. And this is the last opportunity they have, because once he's out of office, it's like the Clinton Foundation is a big nothing now, right? Because the Clintons have no power or influence to peddle. So Biden doesn't care about overstepping. He's paying off donors and everything else to get the money in. So he'll sign, he doesn't care about overstepping because he's not going to run again. So he's probably one of the first. He may be the only president that does not have re-election on his mind. It's not a puppet for the Great. I mean, he might be helping the Great Reset. He might be helping China. He might be helping this person. He might be helping that company or that interest. But it's all about making enough money that his family will never have to work again or worry. James K. Polk only worried about, well, let's talk about modern times. I don't know about administration of President James K. Polk. Yeah, I mean, who else in his family is going to... I mean, these are people that aren't even employable in his family. No, Biden has nothing to lose, and his family has no future without him. I mean, Jill, I guess she can do a book, and make some money on a book, but they want real money, right? And that's what they're gonna be doing. I mean, that's his whole purpose of being president. Look at this. The White House. This is an amazing thing now. Okay, there aren't very many people in the White House press briefing room, but listen to this. The White House briefing room is dominated by women. Just one lone man joining 12 ladies after 4 major networks named new female White House correspondents. And of course, there's Jen Psaki. Why does she have a P? Why doesn't Jen Psaki drop the P? Why is the P silent? I don't know. But, I'm all for equality, and women can do, everything. I'm not a sexist or pretending to be one or anything. But what the heck? I mean, can a guy even get a break today? Can a guy get a break today? Yeah, Kathy in there, my wife, she said hunters spin a lot of it. Let me tell you something. The Biden family, all the money that's come in, I don't think they probably have that much left. If we knew how much cash they had available to them, I know they bought a lot of houses and stuff, but they've spent their money like lottery winners. You ever see that show on CNBC? How lottery destroyed my life? People win millions of dollars and they blow it. They blow it so fast, they got a 20-year payout. They have to take a loan on their future payments. Have you ever heard these stories? That's what the Bidens are like. They just spend it all. So I bet you they don't have as much money as people would think. They turned the White House into a strip joint so the Bidens would feel at home. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Well, you put his his brother seems like a strange guy too. And he's never really had meaningful work in his life either, not making any serious money. And you know what? No matter what Biden does for them, no matter what Joe sets up for them, they'll piss through that too. They'll just like that. I mean, that's just, that's just how they are. But, like I say, that's what he's doing. Yeah, so poor, I mean, this thing about the women, one guy in the whole press briefing room. Nothing wrong with women being in the press briefing room. I know a lot of conservatives like to play this masculine, sexist kind of card. I don't play those games. But it seems to me in this post Harvey Weinstein era that we're in, guys just are out. Guys are out. Guys can't. I mean, you got to be a woman, and if you're a minority woman, then you're really set up. But I get, what equality has become is racism against white people and sexism against men. Then they call that woke. That's what woke is, People that voted for Biden are complaining. Yes, these union guys he put out of work. You need a woman's perspective on everything but 12. I know. Where's the male perspective, right? I know. I wonder, I'd like to know. Out of the 12 women, does that include Jen Psaki? No, okay, 12 female reporters and 1 male reporter. Out of the 12 women in there, I'd like to know how many of them have school-age children. That White House job, that's not an easy job. They're there day and night, 7 days a week. Sun up, past sundown. They're on call. They're traveling all the time. That's not really a job for a mother. It really isn't. And not one that's doing a good job. I don't know. It doesn't tell us anything about that. See, these are the... that's the CNN reporter. It's hard to tell who's who because everyone's wearing masks now. But we're starting to... And it doesn't say anything about them. It just shows you all of them. Where's the one guy? Who's the one guy? It's not Putin. He wasn't in there, was he? I don't know. Let's see. Where's the guy? Let's see here. They don't have a picture of the guy. Where is the guy? Oh, here he is. Way back here in the back. You know, did they kick out the One American News reporter? Remember, they wouldn't even give her a chair, and she always had to stand? The One American News girl? She's not one of these 12 ladies. That's the NBC reporter. Doesn't she look a little bit like Kamala Harris with that mask on? I don't know. I would like to see that. I don't think many of them probably have young children. I would probably say they don't. They don't. Okay, you know, this thing here, okay, House Republicans demand AOC apologize for telling Ted Cruz, "You almost had me murdered," and say Nancy Pelosi must say sorry, though, you know, okay, over what she's been saying. Okay? You know, listen, this thing with AOC, with Ted Cruz, is, first off, it's completely absurd. Completely absurd. And the way Pelosi's been talking lately, talking about the threat is right here inside the House of Representatives and all this the last couple days. You know, I've been talking for quite a while, for many, many months, maybe a year, but I've been talking for many, many months before any of the breach and all this happened. No, they'll never apologize. Democrats don't apologize. No. They'll never apologize. But I've been telling you guys for many, many months that the Democrats have been making a move to make Trump supporters and the MAGA movement declared a hate group, and they're just this close from doing it. I'm surprised they haven't done it already. But the problem here with AOC is this is how it happens, right? This is the Daily Mail, which is kind of left-wing, but I like the Daily Mail. A lot of people think it's too left-wing, and it's left-wing, but I'm smart enough to read through their liberalness. But they got, you know, Daily Mail is a good place to go for news because they, even though it might be left-wing, they do hit on all the major stories. So I go there a few times a day. I go to a lot of other places too, Breitbart, Gateway Pundit, and everything else. But the problem with what AOC said is this, is that House Republicans are calling on her to apologize, but no one in the media is, right? And certainly no Democrats are. And you know, after this, the Bernie Sanders supporter shot Steve Scalise and tried to shoot the entire Republican congressional baseball team, while Scalise was still in surgery. I mean, I don't even know if surgery had started. By the time they got him to the emergency room, the media and the Democrats were all over television saying this has nothing to do with Bernie Sanders. He wasn't even out of surgery yet, and they'd already had a whole news cycle, Scalise, not out of surgery yet, a whole news cycle about how Bernie Sanders wasn't responsible. Right, remember that? And I mean, that was pretty brutal thing that happened. And the mainstream media, the Capitol breach, of course, was very, very wrong. But with everything that happened with the Capitol breach, you don't see anyone making any comparisons about the Bernie Sanders supporter that shot up the Republican baseball team. But how is Ted Cruz responsible for the breach, but Bernie Sanders isn't responsible for what his guy does? Bernie Sanders isn't responsible for that guy, and Ted Cruz isn't responsible any more than Donald Trump is responsible for these fools that took part in the Capitol breach. You know, but the problem with what AOC is saying here, Nancy Pelosi, there's a couple problems. One, this is going to become a new narrative because the media are going to make it a narrative. And they are really, the media and the Democrats are very fearful of Ted Cruz. They think that he's presidential material. And maybe he is. He's very popular among Trump people. He's very popular among Republicans. I've always been suspicious of Ted Cruz. But the media are going to make this a narrative. And the narrative, you'll start to see more and more pundits. You come back in a month, 2 months, next time Ted Cruz is in the news, and you'll see that the liberal pundits are going to take her slander of Ted Cruz and turn it into the new narrative. Okay? AOC doesn't just say things. This is part of something they're crafting. And this is the first time I've seen AOC really working with Pelosi, because Pelosi has a similar narrative, except she's spreading it across multiple people in the House of Representatives. They're terrified of these new Republicans. These new freshman Republicans in the House have them completely terrified because they're MAGA Trump people. And they want to root out any of the people that came in that are Trump people, because in the future they don't want them around. But this will become, there'll be no apology from Pelosi. There'll be no apology from AOC, and they're going to double down and triple down and quadruple down, and it'll be the narrative, and Ted Cruz will be getting the blame for everything, because that's how the Oh yeah, by the way, Black Lives Matter nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, isn't that something? I know, shocker. I'm surprised it's taken so long. What are you going to say to that? Yeah. Now, Matt Gaetz yesterday, he kind of launched his campaign against Liz Cheney, and this is the thing with a lot of people think this is a problem with Republicans, and I don't. They say Democrats are always united, and Republicans we're always fighting amongst ourselves. And Kevin McCarthy he called in the Republican House members and told them to stop going after one another. I don't agree with any of that. Liz Cheney, she's got to go. Liz Cheney voted to impeach President Trump. There really needs to be, they should have done this years ago, there needs to be a process inside the Republican Party where you can do the equivalent of excommunicating someone from the party and take their voter registration away from them. You shouldn't, like I remember back in the early 90s, David Duke, he got elected to the state legislature in Louisiana. He ran as a Republican. The Republicans should have done something about it then. You just can't go out and run and say you're a Republican. And here's Liz Cheney, voted to impeach the Republican president of the United States. And they've got this poll, only 13% would vote to re-elect her. Don't underestimate Liz Cheney. Because Liz Cheney is part of two. She's a joke. She is a legacy member of two very, very dangerous groups. One, the Republican establishment because of her father, and also the deep state because of her father. She's in both. She's the Republican establishment and the deep state. So, there's some that are deep state, there's some that are Republican establishment. She's a little rare. She's both. And the establishment and the deep state won her around for a long time. And that poll, there's no way that the Republican establishment are going to let her go. Nope. No way. There's just no way. I mean, look what her father got away with. No. Josh Hawley, she's just like Mitt Romney. She's worse than Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney's a clown. He's a pathetic, petty man who uses too much hairspray, and he's just angry. He's angry that he didn't win the presidency. He feels humiliated by Trump. And the establishment just use him. He's a useful idiot. She's connected. Her father's Dick Cheney, And I love how the media hold her up as like some credible person in the Democrats, right? They said her father was a war criminal who lied about weapons of mass destruction for personal profit and should be tried for war crimes, right? And now his daughter is like the most respected person among the liberal media in the Republican. You know what? She's like the new John McCain, the Republican member of Congress that the media love. She's the real Republican. I bet she would be very comfortable on The View. I bet you if Liz Cheney went on The View, Joy Behar and Whoopi would be sucking up to her. I did. I just had that story right before you joined us. Yeah, Black Lives Matter nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, I guess does that include the New York City branch that made that chant about the cops, pigs in a blanket? Does that go for this? Yeah. No, but Liz Cheney's not going anywhere, so I would not get my hopes up about that one. She should be out of Congress. She should be out of the Republican Party and everything. This is a joke. This is Saki. Biden is committed to ensuring that we have the most ethically vigorous administration in history. Ethically vigorous. That's a weird word choice. That doesn't mean they're going to be the most ethical. Now, I don't know. What do you guys think, right? This doesn't mean they're going to be the most ethical. Does this mean that they're going to, with vigor, work to be the most ethical? That doesn't mean that they're going to be the most ethical. And what is a Biden, if the Biden's scale of ethics were put up against like Donald Trump, where would they be on that scale? You know what I mean? They have a different set of ethical behavior than most of us do, but that doesn't say they're good. You know, and you've always got, when Democrats tell you they're going to be the most anything, it's always going to be the opposite. My favorite thing is when she said President Obama the other day. Did you guys catch that? That was the best. The most ethically vigorous administration in history. They're going to be more ethical than Lincoln, more ethical than General Washington. Yeah, all right, all these great people. More ethical than, that's right, than all of them in history. They're going a little too far with that one. Sorry, I got an itch. Oh man. By the way, I mentioned this on the stream the other day. This coffee in here is what's left of my coffee I had this morning on the radio, and I put it in the microwave and heated it up and put it in the coffee cup right before the stream here. That's right. So this coffee, what time is it? It's 7. This coffee is 14 hours old. I got it at 5:30, so it's 13 and a half hours old. Now, Biden did say President Trump yesterday. Oh, DeSantis is awesome. You've done the same? I do that all the time, because usually in the mornings I'll drink about half or 3/4 of the coffee. If I have a quarter cup left, I'll bring it home and heat it up and drink it later in the day. Yeah, this is a nice hat. I like this hat. The Man in Black. Sleep in until 6 a.m. tomorrow. I don't sleep in till 6 a.m. On the weekends, I still wake up I sleep in, I'll wake up about 5, usually, on the weekends. And then I'll get up, I'll watch the news, watch some TV, and then I'll head off and get some coffee, then come back. But no, I still wake up and get up out of bed around 5 on the weekends. But I don't get up and get showered and get dressed like I do during the week. I'm usually wearing a t-shirt and pajama pants. Live stream tomorrow. Kathy and I are going to podcast tomorrow. So I'll have a new podcast up tomorrow. So look out for that. I don't know if I'll live stream, but we're definitely going to podcast tomorrow. He's horrible. His attitude. Who's horrible? Biden? Oh, Obama. Kathy is awesome. Yes, she is awesome. A lot of you may not know this. Some of you do, because you've been with us for a long time. But those of you that are new, Kathy and I, in December, will be our 25th anniversary. And I know, 25 years. And she was a listener. That's how we met. And she went to a personal appearance that Steve Kane was doing at a sponsor with some other people, the other hosts, and I wasn't there. I wasn't at it. And she came there to meet me, and I wasn't there. And she gave her number to, I think, to Joyce Kaufman. And Joyce Kaufman gave me Kathy's number, and I called her, and we went out, and we got married 6 weeks later. We knew each other 6 weeks when we got married, which means we decided, I guess, 3 weeks or something? Yeah. But we knew each other 6 weeks after we met. We got married, and I went And this is when I was at another radio station with Steve, and we had this big, huge dinner with listeners. And it was, I remember the restaurant, it was called the Hong Kong Harbor, and it was in Miami. And there were a lot of listeners there. P, a $20 super chat. That's for Kathy. All my money is for Kathy. All my money goes to Kathy, and before I buy anything, I always call or text her. So all my super chats, all the money, any money I make always goes to Kathy. She handles all the money. I don't even know where the checkbook is. Okay, but so thanks, guys. I appreciate that, Pia. So anytime you give me a super chat, it's for Kathy. That's okay. But anyway, we were at this restaurant, the Hong Kong Harbor in Miami, and I told Steve we were going to get married, and he wanted me to make this announcement. So I got up, and there must have been 100, 150 listeners, and I don't know, all these radio talk show hosts. There might have been 6 to 10 radio talk show hosts. And I got up and I said, I got an announcement to make. I said, Kathy and I are getting married. And people were in shock. And some of the other hosts were really rude. And the next day, it was at night and it was during the week. And the next day on the radio, that's all they were talking about all day long, was that we'd made this announcement. We've only known each other 6 weeks. And they were talking about it in a very negative way, very nasty way. They were talking on the air on these other talk shows, not the ones I was on, but other talk shows, about how most marriages end in the first 2 years, and they've only known each other just over a month. They won't last 6 months. They'll be divorced in less than a year. It was terrible with the things they were saying, And Kathy was really upset about it, and because I understand, because she was kind of new to this, and I'm like, that's just how these nasty radio people are. So here we are, 25 years, and the December coming up. This past December was our 24th wedding anniversary, but we knew each other 6 weeks. I know, that's crazy. Yep, Kim, that's Kathy's friend from high school. Kim in there. On the radio, yeah. They were nasty. I remember after we made the announcement and we were leaving the restaurant, someone came up to us in the parking lot and said, "You'll be divorced in 6 months." I remember that. They came right up to us in the parking lot, like, what the hell? They're nuts. I know. These radio hosts and radio listeners, a lot of them are nuts. But that's how they are. They're not nice. They're not nice people. The ones that are nice on the radio are the nastiest off the air. They're faking it. And the ones that are rude on the air are typically nice. I'm nice on the air and off the air. That's right. You got married after 6 weeks. You've been married 55 years. My goodness. Was it WIOD? No, it was not WIOD. It was WFTL. WFTL, not WIOD. Yeah, I know. These people, they're just rude. I just pulled this. I'm not going to talk about the Reddit GameStop thing because it's been talked about enough. But this cracks me up. This is the guy that's got all these Wall Street Gordon Gekko people flipping out. This guy here, he's got some little microphone in his place. This guy is this the guy? He made like $42 million. So this is the guy that's got Wall Street. The thing with the thing with this Reddit GameStop thing, these hedge fund guys. I was watching. I hate Neil Cavuto. I've never liked Neil Cavuto. He's a punk. But he had Charles Payne and some other guy on today talking about it. And you know what their attitude is? Only the Wall Street hedge fund guys are allowed to manipulate stocks. And Charles Payne, I like Charles Payne. He's on Fox Business. And you guys know Charles Payne? He's really good. And Charles Payne said these hedge fund guys, they do the same thing. They make 3-4 phone calls, and they get millions of dollars poured into something to manipulate a stock price. These guys are just some regular guys on Reddit, and they do it, and it's like there's going to be a congressional investigation. One guy put his $600 stimulus, and he made $50,000 towards the house. Are you kidding me? There was a story yesterday in the New York Post about a guy, some kid that got a mortgage. He took out a second mortgage on his parents' house, and that was not true. That was fake news. Yeah, Charles Payne is awesome. He was arguing with this other guy. I don't know the other guy's name. He's on Fox all the time. He's a financial pundit. And Charles Payne threatened to walk off the Cavuto show. I was watching it on YouTube right before I was streaming. I don't like Neil Cavuto. I just watched it because it came up in my stream and it said Charles Payne threatens to walk off Fox News. I'm like, oh, what's this? Clickbait, and I clicked. It baited me, and I watched it. But I think it's hilarious that these guys did that. And what has them upset, these big shot Wall Street crooks, because that's basically what they are, right? It's not this one incident. They're afraid they're going to be irrelevant now. Their whole power is the ability to manipulate stocks. They can make stocks go up. They can make them go down because they've got, most people, if you were to buy stocks today, most people would buy like $100 worth of stocks. You go on an app like Robinhood or something like this, and you buy you buy a little piece of a stock. You know how that stuff goes. I mean, that's they don't mind you guys doing that. But when regular people get together and do one time what they do all day, every day for years, these Wall Street guys caused the Great Depression, caused inflation. They don't care, Bitcoin's the same thing. Bitcoin is, backed up by nothing. It's a similar thing. But they do this every day, all day. They've been doing it for as long as there's been a stock market. These guys on Reddit do it once, and they want Congress to intervene, and they want a congressional investigation, and it can't be allowed. And their fear is that they're going to be irrelevant. They're going to be, it's interesting. All this talk, they're talking about how the GameStop stock is overinflated because GameStop's out because people download the games now. And we've spent a lot of money over the years at GameStop. Anyone with kids has, because GameStop, they had a great thing going, right? When you're done with the game, you can trade it in. They give you a couple dollars for it, or a new game system comes in. You can take your old game system in. And we've done every time. My daughter has all the game systems, right? When they come out, she always wants the latest game system. So we take our old system, we get some money towards the new one. We've been doing that it's great. You can't do that on a download online. And one game, there's 2 GameStops in our neighborhood. One closed down close to a year ago. The other one is still busy. They've got that thing, but they're getting more irrelevant. But what the Wall Street hedge fund guys are afraid of is that this Reddit GameStop AMC thing is going to make them as irrelevant as GameStop is now, or Blockbuster is, like Netflix, right? Netflix put, Blockbuster out of business. Who would have thought, right? And that's what they're afraid this is going to happen. And you know what? They're probably right. And they have so alienated Robinhood. They have so alienated the people that use Robinhood. I would imagine this would probably morph into a mass exodus from Robinhood over the betrayal and go to another app that does the same thing. I mean, the way they behaved, they're like they told you you're getting too uppity. Robinhood's supposed to be a place where people of any background, no connections, not a lot of money, can get involved in stock trades. And then when they start making real money doing it, and it's more than just a game, all of a sudden they shut them down. I mean, it's insane. You don't think they will crash before the Great Reset? The Great Reset is not what you guys think it is. A lot of people think the Great Reset is about turning this into a communist economy. The Great Reset in this country, because I know some of you are from other countries, but the Great Reset is to make sure that another Donald Trump does not become president, right? The president has to be someone that they control, either through money like Biden, or they got blackmail material on them, or like John Kerry or Mayor Pete. Do we have to call Mayor Pete Secretary Pete now because he's Secretary of Transportation? He knows all about transportation. He worked in the motor pool in Afghanistan for a couple months. He's Secretary of Transportation. Can you imagine? Didn't even go to boot camp. But I forgot what I was saying. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. But whatever. Oh, yeah, the Great Reset. The Great Reset is about making sure that only establishment people are president. It's not about turning this into a socialist economy. These guys are billionaires and millionaires 500 times over. They're not really into socialism. They're about control. And if it's socialist or communist, they won't have... The only people in Congress that are not millionaires are people that are new in Congress. Once they're there a couple of terms, they open up the books, and then then they become millionaires because they get their families involved in this deal and that deal and the other crooked deal, and that's how they go. A lot of people talk about the Great Reset and Prince Charles and all that stuff. No. Nope. They can't let go of their backdoor deals. Well, that's how they make their money. Donald Trump makes his money building golf courses and hotels and having TV shows. These politicians, they make money selling their office, right? They're all corrupt public officials. Maybe, Kathy, you can have a show on marriage and what it takes to keep it together. And take calls. You don't need a show on that. That's easy. This is the key. This is not a joke, although it may sound funny. Okay? Here's the key to a long-lasting marriage. Okay? Are you guys ready? And this will sound like a joke, but I'm serious. The key to a long-lasting marriage is for the husband to admit that he's wrong even when he's not. There you go. If the husband will always admit he's wrong even when he's not wrong, that's it. That's the secret. That's right. It's true. It's true. It's true. I'm not kidding. That's the key. That's right. I know people think that's funny, but it may be funny, but it's true. I got a lot of feedback on our podcast the other day when I was talking. Did you guys hear me talking about the lady that was waiting in two lanes at Walgreens? I'll tell you what happened real quick for those that might have missed it. But I know all you guys listen to the podcast, right? You don't miss a second of the podcast. Kathy and I went to the Walgreens drive-thru, and there was this SUV. I didn't know it was a lady at the time, but there was this SUV. There's 2 lanes in the drive-thru, and she was kind of waiting in both lanes, and there were like 4, 5, 6 cars behind her, And I went around it and got into the lane, and she got really she put her window down and started screaming, "You can't do this," And I told Kathy, there's no way this woman is married to her first husband. There's no way. She's probably married because of the car she had, but it has to be her second husband. No guy would put up with that. Not for long. Her second husband will probably be replaced by the third because there's just no way. But no, that's the key. Relationship shows, I think, are boring. People do relate. I'll tell you a funny story real quick before I sign off. We used at the radio station where I started doing talk radio. They had a dating show on the weekend, and this was before the internet, so that's how long ago it was. The internet had not even been invented yet. Okay, so people had to meet in different ways than they do today. But they had a dating show on Saturday nights called Dateless and Desperate. And Kathy's heard me tell this story. This was and what the premise of the show. There was this woman that hosted the show who was a very strange woman. But anyway, she was off on vacation, and I was filling in for her. And the premise of the show was every week. It was a very popular show. It was on Saturday nights from like 8 to 10 at night, and people would call in that were single, hopefully single, looking for dates. And the host had somebody there that would take their number down and match them up. And they wouldn't give the women and men both would call in. A woman would call in. she's single and she's looking for a date and what she's looking. And then guys would call in and they would collect the numbers of the men and give them to the woman. They wouldn't give the woman's number out ever. And I was filling in one night and I'm doing the show. I'm taking all these calls and this girl calls in. She's single. She's looking for a date. I'd gone out with her and she didn't know it was me, you know. Back in my single days, I was kind of on the down low that I was on the radio because I didn't want girls I went out with calling other hosts on the radio talking about me, like, you know, like they were talking about Kathy and I going to be divorced. And she had no idea it was me. I knew, I saw her name because there was somebody, you know, they would call screeners and they would tell me their name and where they were calling from. And I don't remember her name now, but I saw the name and where she was calling from, and I thought, oh my goodness, you know, I'm in trouble. And I took the call. She had no idea it was me. And she went on actually to talk about how she couldn't meet a decent guy, and you know she's got all these problems, and she goes out with people. You never heard me tell that story? Yeah, I've told that before, Kathy. You just forgot, you know. You just forgot. But yeah, and she was on the phone for like 10 minutes, and then the phones lit up with guys that wanted to go out with her, and I was freaking out that she was going to call me out, but I never talked to her again. I don't, you know, but I know it was pretty scary because I was so afraid. I was new, so I wasn't as highly skilled on the radio then as I am now. So if someone started giving me grief, I couldn't deal with it as well as I do now, you know, because I was kind of new at it. So I was terrified that she was going to bring something up. I would have been so embarrassed. Oh my goodness. You met your wife at a bonfire. Oh my goodness. That's a pretty good thing. No, that was a pretty scary thing. Hey, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, all right, and click the notification bell, all right, guys? And you can catch me during the week on the radio. I take live calls from the radio listeners, but you guys that watch on YouTube, call me on the radio too. And yeah, people, you know, we have our toll-free line, and we get calls from all over the country, all over the world, on the radio. And so no matter where you are, we get calls from Australia, we get calls from Israel, we get calls from Europe. So when I'm on the air during the week, you can call me live on the air. And Kathy and I also upload our podcast here. And we'll have a podcast for you tomorrow. We'll do a new podcast tomorrow. I'll upload it here so you can catch our podcast here. And I put a lot of other videos up as well. And actually yesterday I put up a video. It wasn't a live stream. I made a video about, you know, they're talking about, go and watch it after I sign off here. It's a really good one. They're talking about Marjorie Greene. They want to expel her from Congress. And I did a video on that yesterday. Go check it out. And I went through the history of every member of, it's a short video. It's only like 7 minutes. Okay, I went through the history of every member of Congress that has been expelled in the past, and it's pretty hilarious. So you got to go check that out. All right, I put it up yesterday. You'll see on the thumbnail it has Marjorie Greene, and the background's pink because she's a girl. So we made it pink. Hey guys, so again, make sure you subscribe, click that notification bell.